Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. How y'all doing on this lovely Friday night? It is January 16th. How about it? Already halfway through the first month of 2026. I hope you guys had a great week. Hope the weekend is kicking off very nicely for you and yours. And yeah, we're going to have some fun tonight, guys. I've never done anything like this, so y'all are going to need to, teach me, show me. Maybe we just figure it out together. I don't know, but we are here to create a fan-driven, choose your own adventure rewrite of the Stranger Things finale. Now, what's been really cool about this, it's all just sort of like cropped up over the last couple streams where I was like, man, a lot of people wanted something else, right? Clearly, Conformity Gate went viral for a reason, and it certainly affected this channel. We've got a big bump of Stranger Things enthusiasts, and I think a lot of folks, even if they liked or they're, satisfied with how the ending went, maybe it still didn't reach like all of their expectations or, just everything that they wanted from the show. So this is just a really fun opportunity for us to put a little something together ourselves. We're not looking to replace the thing. There's no petition to reshoot it or whatever. It doesn't come from a place of hate or disdain, although maybe some of that's there in the background. But this should be really cool, guys. If you follow just for the last week or so, you know that the Stranger Things streams have been popping, and this idea was a combination of just thinking, so many people wanted this thing rewritten, and then our very own Amanda Mendoza, some of you know her as Trashbox Mandy. She's one of our channel members and one of our moderators here. She came up with this idea, or she just had this thought the other day. She was like, wouldn't it have been cool if they did a choose your own adventure? And I was like, I love that. I'm surprised they didn't do it, but I would absolutely think that would be so awesome if a show did that in the future. Maybe a couple times throughout the season, they actually shot two different versions and then they let the people decide on what they want. So it wouldn't be exactly like the choose your own adventure books, because you need to limit the budget somehow, but it would be really cool. And then you could release those alternate endings as alternate endings and people could insert those into their own headcanon. So yeah, inspired by Miss Trashbox Mandy herself. And we're going to see how that plays out here on the live stream. What I've done is I've put a whole bunch of audience polls on the YouTube page here. So everyone has had the opportunity to vote on characters that they want to see get the axe, how they want to see them meet their doom. And there's even one case of bringing a character back. And then so what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to do most of the setup. This is part 1. So part 2, we're going to actually get into the battle and the epilogue. Today, we're going to kind of set up the pieces, figure out how our characters are going to die, kind of set the stage for the characters themselves. And then I want to have a chat with you guys about how you want to actually write this. I don't think that we're actually going to sit down and write it in script form. That would be very difficult to do with a live audience. What I was thinking we could do that would just be, again, this is just about the exercise of having fun and everything like that. And I'm sure we have various opinions about this in the chat. But I thought, we could do something like take all of our ideas and all of our direction of where we want to see the story go and the characters go, and I can plug it into Copilot, which is Microsoft's little AI technology. And we could kind of see what they do with it, because they can sort of fill in. If we describe the characters or just let them know which characters we're using and describe what's happening, it would just be a lot quicker. And then I was thinking a fun thing I could do here on a third stream is actually just read that finale. So parts 1 and parts 2 will be about us figuring out and, writing the plot points and maybe even writing some lines of dialogue we want to use, whatever. And then part 3 would be me actually reading everything that we came up with the assistance of Microsoft Copilot. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to get some live polls going here. There is actually a live poll in the chat right now, so you can vote on whether or not we stick with the time jump. Some people had a really big problem with that time jump in Stranger Things Season 5. I think it was kind of a clever way of them Not even clever. I'm going to say, because I want it to sound derogatory. They cleverly disguised their laziness by just like resetting everyone back pretty much, and having to drudge up old stuff all over again. So we have 15 votes so far. Does our finale start shortly after the finale of season 4, or do we stick with the time jump? And it looks like most of you are saying let's go post-apocalypse Hawkins. So we are not going to patch up anything between the Upside Down and the regular world. We are just going to live in this world. Maybe this happens within 2 or 3 days after this event. We could start our story right there, and then it's got that kinetic energy that it's bringing from that last fight with Vecna from season 4. Or we could take a week off, whatever. Just seems like there's a really big time jump there. So anyways, guys, before we get into the nitty gritty of it all, I'm gonna jump on into the chat, and I'm just gonna welcome everybody that's hanging out here. So let me see who we've got. We got Darth the Silly Demogorgo hanging out here. We've got Teal Kit in the house. What's happening, Teal Kit? I'll be watching from the outside looking in since I'm busy. Put this on the watch later. Well, thank you so much for checking it on out, Teal Kit. Whenever you get around to this, let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any story suggestions for part 2, just in case you can't make that one as well. We got Stewie in the house. What's happening, Stewie? Hope you are doing well. Stewie says, I didn't know that I needed a live where Stranger Things was rewritten, but now I know, and I'm all about it. Well, there you go, Stewie. Heck yeah. So get ready for some live polls here in a minute. All the tallying from the polls on the main YouTube page, I've already taken care of that, so we'll go over that here shortly, guys. I just want to make sure I'm saying what's up to everybody. We got Joe from Media Poop Shoot, one of our great channel members, jumping on in. How are you doing, Joe? So great to see you. Feel like the time jump was a quick way to skip the juicy stuff. Yeah, they just wanted to they wanted to take the pot of boiling water just right off the oven and throw it in the snow. Just like, let's cool out. We got Adrian James in the house. How are you doing, Adrian? So good to see you. We got Linda, another one of our great channel members. How are you doing, Linda? Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. We got Erica Stabs 4 likes, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods. Hope you are doing well, Erica. I know you're very much looking forward to this, so I hope you've come locked and loaded with some fresh ideas that we can throw into the mix here. We got King Matthew the Third. What's happening, King Matthew? Having a good night so far, man. Just got back from the Bone Temple. Yeah, I finally saw it. How about it? We got Lady of Veggies 4629 hanging out. How are you doing, Lady of Veg? Hope your night is going well. We got Wild Man Beyond. What's happening, Wild Man? Thank you so much for joining us. I think I recognize you from one of the previous Stranger Things streams. You say, I want to be a part of this discussion because I have a lot I want to let out about what they should have done. Well, this is great. Yeah, we're going to get into it. We got Tia Nina, one of our great channel members. How you doing, Tia? Always a pleasure to see you here. Let's see who else we got. Christine is in the house. What's happening, Christine? Thank you so much for joining us. We've got Antonis Andriotis. What's happening, Antonis? Copilot might be Skynet, but think about it, guys. We're just, this is a fun, silly little thing. I think if we let Copilot help us with our fan-driven, choose-your-own-adventure rewrite of the finale of Stranger Things, I think we'll be okay. I don't think that'll be the tipping point that makes the Terminators come after us. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. We got Bronson Wright Wolf, who is a channel member for 6 months, says, it's my pleasure to support your channel. I'm looking forward to your review of The Haunted Mansion 2003. It's a fun, spooky Halloween film to watch with the family, especially in October. Yes, guys, Bronson purchased one of the higher tiers of channel membership, I believe the highest one, and requested that I review The Haunted Mansion from 2003, which I've never seen. Can you believe that? So yeah, guys, if you buy into that highest level of membership, you can request a film that you want me to check out and review. And in this case, it's going to be a first-time watch. King Matthew, I see one of your chats here. I'm just going to star that for later. We got our Lady Ray in the house. What's happening, Ray? So good to see you. One of our great channel members, a Death Squad mod, and Guys, I got the biggest crush on this girl, Ray. I swear. You know what? I have this big of a crush. I'll tell you right now. I've never done this in my life before. I sent her an item of clothing, a hoodie, a very beloved hoodie that I've had since I was like 15 or 16. I don't know. This thing is from a long, long time ago. Long time ago. I've never done that. Kind of nervous. Like, will I ever see it again? I guess I really got to play my cards right now. The pressure is on. The pressure is on, Ray. All on me, one would assume. But thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. All right. Now that I've gotten my lover boy mushy stuff out of the way, time to move on here. We got Kelly H in the house as well, one of our great channel members. How you doing, Kelly? So good to see you, of course. Always a pleasure. We got Miss Jamie Hart, our original Death Squad mod, and one of our very first channel members. Hope you're doing well, Jamie. All right. It will be a good way to vent. It will be. Yes. We're going to get to that for sure. And one of the things we can do is if you're venting or you're frustrated about something, let's turn it into something creative. So, here's what I'll say, because I know that a lot of us are here because we do have some negative things to say, even if we enjoyed certain parts of the finale. If we're going to rip apart or say, like, I don't understand why they did this, blah, 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 let's replace it with something that we would want to see. Let's turn it into something creative. I think that'll be fun. So vent and then offer up an idea. How about it? We got Stephanie Hinkle joining us. What's happening, Stephanie? So good to see you. And we got David in the house as well. I'm doing all right. Doing all right, David. Thank you so much for checking on in. All right, let me have some water here. Whatever I picked up at like the end of the 2025, whatever it is, has some weird remnants that are still sticking with me. It's long COVID. No, I don't think it is. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this. So has everybody voted in our very first poll? Okay, so I think let's go ahead and close this one out. There we go. I'm going to end that poll. We had 20 votes there. And what are the results? Let's see. Let's see what we got. So 20 votes and let's go post-apocalypse. Hawkins won 85% of the vote. So we're going to roll with a post-apocalyptic. Oh my gosh, can I speak? A post-apocalyptic Hawkins that we're going to pick up shortly after. So I'm just writing down some notes here. Let me do it in a way that doesn't shake the camera. How about that? Shortly after the season 4 finale. Okay. Let's call it a week. People have rested up a little bit. They think everything's safe and everything is not safe. Something like that. Unless you guys have a better idea, let me know how you would want to roll with that. This is where, so when we close out a poll like this is the perfect idea for you guys to chime in if you've got an idea about how you want to handle, since we're going to go from season 4 and we're not going to give this big time jump. We're not going to cover the ripped open seams between the upside down and the right side up. So if you have any ideas of how we should take care of that or implement that in the story, this is the perfect time to chime in and let me know. And for whatever reason, am I stuck on, I feel like for whatever reason, my chats are not loading up on the StreamYard side. This is odd. I don't want to back out of the stream or anything to get it going because that might mess it up. But let me see if I can keep up with you guys on the side here. In fact, I wonder if I do this. Okay. No, it's stuck. Okay. Sorry, guys. Well, we won't worry about it. Golly, I do want to be able to bring up your guys' chats, though. I don't know what the deal is with that. I wish I could reload that, but I think what it's going to do is end the stream, unfortunately, if I try to do that. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to scroll up on back because I saw that Gina popped in. Hope you are doing well, Gina. Give, Ziggy Pup some love for us here. And I hope you saw your shout out in the video that I dropped earlier today about the Duffer Brothers and what they've got cooked up next. Check it out if you guys haven't, and thank you guys so much for the support on the screen video. Let's see here. Erica's just reminding everybody about everything. I love to see it. Let's see here. Stephanie grabbed her juice box. Stacy Branscombe is in the house. Says, hey, glad I found you all. These Stranger Things polls are fun. Hell yeah, Stacy. Let's see here. Bronson, I have yet to check out the movie, but I'm planning on getting to it this weekend, bud. Let's see here. King Matthew III says, give Dr. K more of a reason. Okay, we will get to Dr. K. In fact, yes, I am the dungeon master, Stephanie, and now, unfortunately, I'm trying to work with less tools than we usually have. So maybe it'll breed some creativity. So let's see. Oh, and it looks like maybe the chat is back up and running, even though it skipped a bunch. So we'll just find out, because I'm able to put this one up, but I know that I missed a whole bunch. Let's see here. I won't be able to, I don't think I'll be able to do that. Not on this stream here, Wild Man Beyond. Anything like that, I would want to like watch before and prepare for and that kind of stuff. So we're just going to roll with what we've got here in front of us. So I guess now is, I think I'm okay now, Christine. For whatever reason, it just blipped out for a second. And should I do this? Should I put you guys up on the screen? I wonder what this is like. Oh yeah. Ooh, look at that. How is that? That's pretty, I don't know. What do you guys think of that? I'll leave it up there and you guys let me know. How about it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so guys, let's take a look at the polls from the page, because this is going to kind of shape, you know, some of the decision making that we have in front of us here tonight. By the way, I know Erica's said it. I've been talking for 18 minutes and I haven't said it. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, all that kind of good stuff. If you're watching after the fact, thank you so much. That really helps these streams. Hit the like button, hit the hype button, whatever you can do that's free that can help the channel, I would very much appreciate. But not only that, jump into the comments and let me know your ideas, because we're going to have a part 2 of this stream where we write the finale, you know, the big battle and the epilogue and everything like that, that part of the finale. So if you have ideas for that, jump on into the comments and let me know down there. And for whatever reason, yeah, we're just having issues with StreamYard. But let's get these polls up here on the site here. There we go. How about that? Okay, so our very first poll was, you know, we're figuring out which characters to kill off in our finale. I don't think they did enough of that in, you know, the finale that we got. So there's absolutely no way that was satisfying. That was not some pretty safe writing, I would say, that left us wondering, like, what is going to happen that actually has some risks and some stakes involved. So I grouped everybody up in, you know, groups of 4. So, you know, here we are. We got our main 4 guy characters, and you guys voted Will off of the proverbial island. So Will is not going to make it through this finale. And a lot of you, let's see here. I think you all voted. Okay, so here we go. Out of the main cast, you all overwhelmingly decided that Will Byers is the one who won't be going on beyond the finale. And the 2 highest, you know, voted possibilities here. The winner was with 45% says he sacrifices himself to truly put an end to Vecna. And in second place with 37%, Will dies because when Vecna is defeated, the breaking of the connection kills Will. So I'm thinking about putting that up to like a 50-50 vote of all of you guys here. But I'm guessing that it's probably going to end up being that Will would sacrifice himself here. Let me see if I can jump back on over to the YouTube side so I can see your guys' chats. Because for whatever reason, StreamYard is effing up. What's happening, Koi? So great to see you, man. Thank you for jumping on in. Koi's been a member for 14 months, guys. That is awesome. Jamie says I'm not staying because I haven't even watched Stranger Things. I'm just here to be social. Well, thank you so much for jumping on in, Jamie. Yeah, we might spoil something if you ever plan to watch it. It's good. I think it's worth watching. Yeah. Wild Man Beyond says stop killing everybody. It's getting annoying. We'll see. We'll see if it gets annoying enough for you guys here. Okay, so we're going to have Will sacrifice himself to truly put an end to Vecna, unless you guys want to see that, you know, Vecna getting killed having this effect on Will. I always thought that like when one of them got hurt, it should have affected the other one because they had that connection. So I thought it would have been cool to see that sort of ending, but you guys already spoke in the vote. So let's go ahead and roll with that. And moving on over to our very next group of characters here. Man, this one was at some point, Nancy was at like 50 some percent or something like that. But this is our group of main female characters. And you guys have voted for Nancy to get the axe here in our finale. And the way that you want to see it, you want to see Nancy killed by the Mind Flayer during the final battle, which I think is pretty awesome. We need some deaths in that final battle scene, right? So we got to see that. So, okay, so there we go. We've got her all sorted there. Next up, one of the parents has got to go. You know, so either Joyce Hopper, Ted, or Karen. Holy cow, you guys couldn't have wanted to kill Ted any quicker in our rewrite here with 60% of the votes. Over 100 votes there, it looks like. It's tough to read from where I'm at. But yeah, you guys voted Ted to be the next one dead. Now, you all voted for him to die fighting the Demogorgon with Karen and being bested in battle. So we're going to set that, I guess, in that scene in the Wheeler house. We'll keep that scene. We'll have Ted die there. Dang, the Wheelers, man. Ted and Nancy. That's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. Should one of them be spared but maimed horribly? I don't know. Let me know in the chat, guys. I'm seeing it looks like the chats are coming in sparsely. I voted Robin gets the axe. She annoys me so bad. I really like her in season 3. Yeah, I really like her there. But not so much after. What's happening, Jason? Thank you so much for joining us, man. Thank you for being a channel member as well. And I appreciate you jumping on in. Scream 5 and 6, maybe I'll come around them on come around on them at some point. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're bad movies. Just not as good as the first 4. Okay, so Ted is gone, and who else do we have up next? We've got our side lady characters. You guys voted Dr. K to get killed. No surprise there. Anything about Dr. K would have been nice after the finale wrapped up. We have no idea what happened. None of our group got arrested or had any consequences. Hopper's still a police officer. So it would have been nice to see something happen with Dr. K in some regard. So you guys you're saving Kali. We might, you know what? Maybe she still ends up getting the axe, but Dr. K for sure is getting the axe. And you guys voted for Dr. K to be, I think I have the wrong thing here. You guys voted, sorry, let me just bring that up over on my end. You guys voted for Dr. K to be ripped to shreds by a Demogorgon. So good choice. I think in our version of the finale, we should have more creatures. They hardly had any creatures in the finale. And you know what? We're actually going to have Vecna do some real shit. So how about that? Our side guy characters that we were voting on to give the axe to, Murray, Steve, Mr. Clark, and Jonathan. Jonathan won with quite a few votes here. Now, we've already voted to kill Will. Now we voted to kill Jonathan. Do we want to save one of them? Let me know in the chat. If so, which one and what happens? Are they injured in some way that it will affect them for the rest of their lives? Give me some of your ideas, guys. And I apologize. Usually I'm way quicker with the chat, but we're just having some issues with StreamYard today. So I'm going to keep up on it as best I can, but just know that I am limited a little bit there. Davey has so many polls, I don't remember what I voted for. Well, it's a good thing this isn't it's not very consequential, our vote here. Ray says, I think Dr. K deserves a Slurpee thrown at her face and a bad hangnail. At the very least. We got Gory Tiger joining us. What's happening, Gory? So good to see you. Thank you so much for jumping on in. And then, guys, the last big item that I had you vote on was bringing a character back, whether they are deceased or just written out of the show. So we had Susie, Argyle, Barb, which is a big callback from season 1 there, or Eddie. Bring our guy Eddie Munson back. And you guys voted to bring Eddie back overwhelmingly. A lot of votes there for Eddie, and I'm not surprised at all. And you guys chose to bring him back with let me see here. I think it is it this one? Let's see. There we go. All right, so you guys voted to, the options were to bring him back as a lost, listless soul wandering the upside down. I thought that would have been kind of cool. Pretty sad, though. Or in a vision to Dustin, giving him courage to fight. I thought that was pretty cheesy, but well, why not throw a little cheese into our options? And then ultimately what won here, what won our vote, is what I was hoping you guys would vote for. So thank you for not disappointing me there. No Eddie Gate on this stream. You guys voted to bring him back as Kaz the Destroyer, who is the reluctant right hand of Vecna within the world of Dungeons and Dragons. So Kaz is usually a vampire, and within the story, he, it seems like from everything I read, I'm not a big like D&D player, but everything that I read, seems to indicate that he's going to end up turning on Vecna at some point. So I'm excited to be able to work this in to our story. I think it'll pack some good emotion and all that kind of stuff that we're looking for. So I'm really pumped about that one. Let's see here. The chat is like slowly trickling in. Of course we bring Eddie back. I definitely voted for that one. Yeah. Eddie Miyamura, come back. I voted my girl Barb. I thought Barb would get more, because I thought people would be like, oh, of course, Eddie. And then they'd be like, man, though, Barb, like, didn't really get a fair shake. Only one of them. Sorry, Wild Man. We can only pick one. I'm just implementing arbitrary rules. What's happening? Brett from Goodwill Hunting, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods, watching The Traitors on Peacock. All right. Yeah, no, I hear you on the Stranger Things stuff, Brett. You could have at least given us an idea or two. Come on. Lady of Veggies has got to know if anyone actually liked the finale. Erica definitely did not. Let's see here. Oh, nice. We're right on track with the likes. You guys are kicking ass. You guys are doing great. Okay, let's see what else we got. I'm going to star your chat there, King Matthew. In fact, there's a couple of those that I've seen pop up here. King Matthew says, hot take, but I feel like Steve should have died in the finale to make going after Vecna more personal for Dustin. Yeah, I mean, it would have really driven it home. I didn't want Steve to die. I wanted him to be protected at all costs. But I know you feel a little bit differently. So we are not killing Steve in our finale because that's not what we agreed upon. But we can give him some really, I think some even more emotional moments. We can still have some of that emotion between he and Dustin, right? And it probably will be elevated even more so bringing Eddie back as Kaz. So that'll be very cool to set that up. King Matthew also says a good way to bring Eddie back would be Dustin puts Vecna in a trance, and Eddie returns playing Master of Puppets to save Dustin. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna bring him back as Kaz, and we'll figure out all the details here as we go. Jonathan can go. He does nothing. Never kill Steve. Yes. One idea: Eddie is alive and he graduated and becomes a rock star. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. I see a scene like an Avengers Endgame where the victims of the Upside Down come back, like Eddie and Barb. Like a whole kind of what else did they do that in? Even in like Rise of Skywalker, they had like all of the Jedis like came to help Rey spiritually or whatever. Do you feel like they wasted Linda Hamilton? I think a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Dr. K is like pretty inconsequential once everything shakes out. Okay, so guys, I'm just trying to keep us on track here, and I don't imagine, it looks like I am still getting chats are sparse here, but it looks like it's getting better on the StreamYard side. That's nice. But let's get to some other items here. So we've got some of our characters. We know how we're gonna get rid of them. We know that Ted is gonna die in this first part, in this setup and everything like that. Okay, so where did we land on? We land on what, taking a week off, a week between finales here, or between finale of season 4, and then 1 week has passed before the beginning of season 5. And where do we see our characters? Where do you guys see our characters as they recover from season 4? And they're kind of licking their wounds, but they know that they don't have very much time before the threat is real again. So I want to hear from you guys a little bit on that. Erica, thank you so much for the $2-bucker. Really appreciate you. Yeah, guys, there is a super chat goal going. So, you know, go ahead if you are into participating. It's just 10 super chats of $2 or more, and I'll host a watch party right here on YouTube. We do a whole bunch on the Discord side. It's really fun. We'll probably get it going on the Discord side, but I will do a watch along over here on YouTube, just so I can kick it with you guys and give you all my stunning Davilpedia commentary. So if you want that, then feel free to hit that super chat button. Okay, Dustin didn't need any more reason to hate Vecna and want vengeance. He already lost Eddie. It would be so redundant to kill Steve too. Yes, I hard agree on that. And let me jump back on over here, make sure I'm not missing anything. Christine says, I don't remember how season 4 ended. Well, basically 11 defeats Vecna, we think for good, but it's for just the time being. You know, it kills like all the demon bats in the Upside Down, but there's been this like fissure has broken open in Hawkins, and you can see into the Upside Down. So it's like Hawkins is like cracked open, and our heroes are like looking, you know, across the town from the hills or whatever, and everything just looks like a total nightmare. That's how I remember season 4 ending. So yeah, moving into season 5, like I would imagine everyone would be, like I said, licking their wounds. I do like the stuff with 11. You know, 11 is training and all that stuff. I like that they put that into the finale. I don't think that we really need her to be like, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. I think for so much of this show, there hasn't been the support from the parents to like actually recognize that the kids are old enough now to start making their own decisions because of everything that they've experienced in their lives. So call me crazy, guys, I kind of like the idea of our team like getting along at the beginning of the season, and like the beefs have been squashed. This is so much bigger than any single one of them, the plans they have in their life moving forward. This is something that has to be dealt with like almost immediately. Like I said, licking their wounds from the last thing. I mean, what, Robin, Nancy, and Steve were all being like choked out by the vines in season 3. So this is all still fresh for every single one of them. And they're not going to be, you know, bitching at each other, trying to figure out their relationship status while they're dealing with this. So I want to see them actually kind of like working like a team. Call me crazy, like a supportive X-Men, you know, like 11 is training. She doesn't think it's good enough. Like Hopper and Joyce are there to like help her replenish and help her do her thing. And instead of saving cheesy moments for moments where characters might die, you just like, we actually see some belief and some trust from the parents to the kids. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys have to say about that. And I'm jumping back on over to the YouTube side of things here. Maybe get a day or two time jump with the group still questioning Hopper being alive after season 3. Well, we're just going to worry about season 4 and go and rewriting our own thing for season 5. King Matthew, we're not going to go that far back, right? we're not going to go back to season 3 or anything like that. Everyone knows that Hopper's alive. Erica says, I would prefer to have had more demos and fights and less yaps and whiny stuff and actually fighting supposed bigger and stronger Vecna. Yeah, we need to do something better with Vecna. Okay, so how about this? We're going to catch up with our regular team. Everyone is sort of still in shock, but gearing up and trying to plan for whatever's next, because our group this time around is going to be way more proactive. They're going to be like ready to go in. Okay. And at the same time, we can set up that the military has been there for some time. I mean, we know that presence has been there in Hawkins. So the military and our group are both planning at the same time a way to go into the Upside Down and do what they want to do. Should the military have Kali, say we set that up the same kind of way, like they've got her, they've been using her, but they're going to be going into the Upside Down around the same time. Maybe the military goes in right before our heroes go in, and our heroes find something like some sort of massacre, or they go into the Upside Down and it's like the middle of a battle between the military and, you know, the Demogorgons and maybe some other creatures. I don't know. Erica, do you want to see some other creatures? I know they already kind of did the bats thing. I think we could do some creatures that are even, you know, smaller than the Demogorgons, like, and not Demodogs, like something a little bit different, something a little more like parasitic. And then even something bigger than the Demogorgons could be really cool. Of course, we want to save the big kaiju thing for the big kaiju thing. But yeah, let's see here. Koi says Conformity Gate, which wasn't real, was the only thing that made the finale remotely interesting. Anyone saying it's good is on copium. There you go. There it is, straight from the mouths of babes. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to write a couple of these ideas down. And remember, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to bunch together our ideas and everything for setting everything up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Copilot with all of our ideas. I'll write it out first as like a document that's like very descriptive, and I'll put it in Copilot and see what sort of fun stuff that they throw in there, knowing that we're working within the realm of Stranger Things. I think this could be really cool. So yeah, we'll see. So, okay. Our hero group, it doesn't sound like you guys are against them getting along, right? If them getting along means that we can get straight to the action, that's good, right? We're good with that. I want to make sure you guys are happy with that decision. I would imagine that's exactly what Erica wants. Lady of Veggie says demo spiders. They should have so many of these spiders, because that's what, you know, Henry and Vecna is so in love with. So, and it could be a little foreshadowing to the giant kaiju. That could be pretty awesome. That could demo lice, says Christine. Yep. What's happening, Matt? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Welcome on in. Erica says, I don't think new creatures need to be introduced for the last season. The usual monsters would be good, but they were on vacation, I guess. Okay, so do you want to bring the bats back? I feel like we need some, like, the Upside Down needs to be dangerous. Like, it still needs to be a threat, even though they defeated Vecna in season 4. Okay, so looks like you guys are all good on Tia. I'm not saying Skynet's our friend. Koi says, I'm tired of people being afraid to be critical of art. Stranger Things had potential, fell flat. To avoid this in the future, people need to be honest. Yeah. 80s kid, unfortunately, we voted Ted Wheeler off the island, so he is going to go down swinging, but he is going to not make it out of the first half of our rewrite of the finale. Yeah, the bats missing were a bold choice. I think the idea is that when Vecna was defeated in season 4, that killed them for some reason. Yeah, so like Eddie really didn't have to go back into the Upside Down. What Steve says in season 5 is totally true. Eddie like could have just escaped with Dustin, would have been fine, right? And then even the creatures that ended up killing Eddie were like poof, gone. It's weird. Yes to bats and dogs, and of course the usual demos. Okay, I know, Erica, you don't want any demo spiders or demo lice or anything like that. Okay, so I'm gonna write some notes here. Our hero group is getting along! Exclamation point. They're licking their wounds from their most recent battle with Vecna to close out season 4. The fissures in Hawkins are not sealed. The threat remains. I mean, I'm just writing it very basic. And guys, keep in mind, I'm not really like a writer or anything like that. So it's going to be sort of, just let me know if you have any ideas. If I miss something that you say that you really want put in the story and you really want to make sure I don't miss it, you can also, or you can always throw out like a little $2 super chat. I'll make sure not to miss it. So fissures and Hawkins are not sealed. The threat remains. The military with Dr. K are prepping to go in unbeknownst. That's a writer word, right? Unbeknownst to our heroes who are planning the same thing. The military has Kali 8 in tow. So they've got Kali with her. They're still doing the same stuff with Kali. However, guys, I think this is a little something that I want to see in here. I want Kali to be used as at some point. I want to find out that the military is like trying to get inside of Vecna's mind or trick Vecna. So they're using her as a weapon, not to get 11 necessarily. Maybe they think that's what they're getting to, but maybe there's something about the, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I don't have it all figured out right now. But I would love to see Kali used as some sort of weapon against Vecna. She doesn't even get to go face to face with him. It's a shame. You know, these are, let's just say these are X-Men, and it's a shame when they don't get to face off. So the military has Kali in tow. They are using her to track 11 and Vecna, because they're just looking for that blood, right? So there we go. That can explain why they're after him just as much as they're after 11. They don't know that he's any more of a threat than 11 is. And they might not even know that he's turned into like a tree monster. They just might think that it's Henry because it's Henry's blood in there. Okay, cool. So I like that. Let's see here. Up there with the threat remains, I'm going to say the upside down is still a dangerous, toxic environment filled with dangerous creatures and monsters alike. The ones we've seen before, but greater in numbers. How about that? Are you guys having fun yet? I'm going to jump back on over and see what you all are saying here in the chat. Let's see what else we got. Ted being grumpy always made me giggle, but he was worthless. Yeah, he was just sort of a joke. He was just like the boring dad, you know. Ted and Dustin's beef throughout the seasons was so funny to me over the language thing. Jamie says I'm currently cosplaying as Alan Wake. Is he a writer? Does he wear gray shirts? I don't know anything about Alan Wake other than I think it's a video game. Let's see here. Okay, you guys are just saying what's up. Koi says this is a great idea for a stream. This rewrite is pretty cool. So are you guys cool with me just like spitballing, and if something doesn't jive with you, you chime in or something? I don't want to put it all on, I don't want to put it all on me if you guys want to be involved more, but at the same time, like I can totally get down with just, keeping going the way we're going. So let's see. Okay, Koi is digging it. Okay, so military has Kali in tow. They're using her to track 11 and Vecna. So let's see here. I'm going to add here after the group is licking their wounds. Shaky camera again. 11 is training, but there's something different in the air. I'll just say here, the support from Hopper and Joyce fills 11 with a confidence she's never felt before. No pressure. No pressure. No. Gosh, what am I trying to say here? Confidence she's never felt before. No pressure. Only support. And it feels real. There you go. So we're just kind of, they really are being caring and nurturing as they, they know that they are about to go literally fight for their lives because this shit ain't over. But there's just something that feels a little hopeful, and we're going to keep that permeating here so then we can rip your heart out when we kill these characters that we know and love. How about it? You got to build up that love and then rip the heart out. Okay, so what else did we have going on here? Military, Dr. K, they've got Kali in tow. How about this? How about our group aren't the only ones recovering from battle. Vecna was greatly diminished and severely hurt. I don't want to hurt, makes it sound like his feelings were hurt. Severely wounded in battle. I'll just say this. It's at the point where not even Will can sense whether or not he exists. But Will can tell something ain't right. But Will can sense, can tell that this isn't over. How about that? Okay. Because if we're going to sideline Vecna for part of the season, which I think is okay, the finale of season 4 sets it up. There have to be some sort of consequences there. So, and I think it's okay. Maybe, if we're let's think about, still think of it as like 8 episodes. We're just going to tell it, more concisely. But if you think about it in that sense, if Vecna's not in, not a big part of the first 3 or 4 episodes, that's totally okay. I still want to see him in there. I want to see him. Oh, I'm spilling water over here. It's amazing. I want to see Vecna, like, basically, having to kind of run away with his tail between his legs. He has to go back to the upside down to recharge or whatever. And that is when I want to introduce Kaz, I think. And we can use Vecna's weakened state and having to like charge up, kind of plug in for a while. We can use that as a chance to show off, Kaz the Destroyer. And we don't have to say that it's Eddie yet at this point. Like, we can make that reveal come later, and the people that know will know. So I guess the only tricky thing about bringing in Kaz is they've never mentioned him in this show, but he is a part of a lot of these campaigns. So I just figured if you're going to sideline Vecna, you need somebody else that has been like working underneath him that can sort of carry on some things. And then it also, with whatever entity is above them both, we never really hear the Mind Flayer speak or anything like that. It seems like it's all just done telekinetically with that creature, but we could create a little bit of a distrust from the big bad that now doesn't know if they can really believe in Vecna to get it done. So maybe it's a chance for Kaz. Kaz sees it as like, oh, this is a chance to like keep things going, but also maybe a chance to replace my like master or whatever. I don't know, guys. I'm just thinking on the fly here, so you guys got to let me know. Let's see here. This is to be the final battle. A very cool climax featuring Max waking up with powers with her and Lucas. Plays Let's Go Prince. Let's Go Crazy by Prince. Yeah, I was worried that a lot of people were going to get powers, so I don't want to get too crazy with giving people powers. What I would rather do on that one, Wild Man, is I would like to see So maybe Max does have powers because of what she's able to do when Henry has her, like, you know, in a coma, like in his mind. She still seems to have some powers there. So maybe there's something there with Max. But I don't want to give her like Will and 11 powers. And I would like to see Will do a little bit more with the powers, or see that played out in a, you know, in a different kind of way. So let's see here. All right, Alan Wake is a writer and he wears gray. There we go. Stuck in the Black Lodge, so he's trying to rewrite his way out. Oh, that's a cool plot. Have they done a movie of that? All right, well, Erica wanted Max to have powers too. Going off, whoever survives Vecna ends up having powers as well. Okay. What if she's got, you know, a different kind of power? Some sort of mental power. There you go. You got your Twin Peaks in there, Jamie. Did you see all that merch that I shared with you and Des in our Instagram DM thing? You should check that out if you haven't seen it. Let's see here. So you guys seem pretty all right with me just kind of spitballing here. And okay, so let's see here. Will can tell that it isn't over. Vecna is hurt. During this time, we see that Vecna's right hand, Kaz the Destroyer, has been working behind the scenes to build an army in the Upside Down. And then I'm just going to write the subtext here that we'll find a way to set it up, you know. But basically here, due to Vecna's failure, the Mind Flayer is questioning whether or not he has what it takes to do what must be done. Okay. Kaz sees this as not only an opportunity to impress his true master, but an opportunity to replace Vecna as the right hand of the Mind Flayer. Okay, because we got to have a little bit of politicking going on. You know, bad guys playing, you know, succession games with one another and everything like that. And I want to put some pressure on Vecna outside. Like, where's the pressure coming from on Vecna's character? Like, he gets the kids for the Mind Flayer to feed off of and all that stuff. I just like, they're not really applying any pressure. I would like to see him sort of, like, he kind of looks like, he doesn't look like a fool, like a cartoon character. Like, we're not making fun of him, but in the eyes of his master, he looks like a fool, like that kind of thing. Hopefully you guys get what I'm saying there. Paula wants to know if she can be Eddie's girlfriend and Dustin's sister in the story. What do you guys think? Well, Eddie is gonna come back not as Eddie, unfortunately, Paula. He's gonna come back, but he's gonna be Kaz the Destroyer. We got Ray dropping a $2 Canadian super chat, and she says, Team Vecna. Well, there you go. There you go. Thank you so much, Ray. Appreciate you. Let's see what else we got here. The whole thing, if the whole thing of Henry kidnapping the kids was a vision, then maybe he had that look on his face at Max because he was scared of her because she had powers. Okay. I think, yeah, that's something we're going to have to figure out, because I don't understand why Vecna is afraid of some cave. Like, just because it was like the moment of his life where he was, you know, first connected to the Mind Flayer. He seems happy in the choices that he's made. You know, Will straight up is like, hey, you can fight this thing off. And he's like, no, I need it. It needs me. And that was like it. So I don't understand why Vecna is afraid of the cave. Especially because he should be afraid of not the cave that you see from the spot that you fell in. He should be afraid of the spot he fell in, right? So That's wild to me. Also, you know, with the kidnapping of the kids, that's something we're gonna have to figure out. We will get there. Paula says Kaz can have a girlfriend. I don't judge. Well, all right. If you don't mind having, you know, vampire, badass right hands of Vecna as a boyfriend, then he's all yours, Paula. He's all yours. Obviously, Steve belongs to Eddie, says David. So Christine, Kaz is a character from Dungeons and Dragons. So a lot of people out there that, you know, were theorizing about season 5, you know, they were hoping against hope that Eddie would come back, because Kaz is usually somebody that was part of the main party of like heroes that's turned into a vampire character and like becomes the right hand of Vecna within the world of Dungeons and Dragons. And then he inevitably turns on Vecna at some point. So yeah, that's where it gets a little dicey, because they don't talk about Kaz in the show. But the Mind Flayer and Vecna are characters from Dungeons and Dragons, and Kaz is characters in those same, I can't remember what the word is they use for them, in those same like setups, those same story setups. Builds, is that what they call them? I'm not sure if that's what they call them. What's happening, Joel from Dark Room Reviews? Hope you are doing well. Okay, so let's see where we are at, guys, here with the writing. Okay, so we know that Kaz wants to like kind of have his day in the sun, see if he can outdo Vecna. Okay, and we know that we're gonna have more. Let me put that in here. Dangerous. Okay, so we got that dangerous, toxic environment filled with filled with creatures and monsters alike. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what else do we need to set up here in the setup for the finale? I'm trying to think of what else we want to see going on here. I mean, I guess, you know, we can kind of check in on each one of our main characters. You know, Steven and Robin are still buds. Robin doesn't do the radio show or anything like that, because again, this is just like a week after the end of season 4. So we're not doing a whole like catch up, like everything is fine, sweep everything under the rug kind of thing. But we could check in. I'll just say we check in with our remaining cast of heroes. Not everything is perfect, obviously, but there is a sense of calm because they all know of the epic battle that lay before them. Simple enough, right? Simple enough. Okay. What do we want to do with Holly? I'm going to put a live poll in for you guys. I promised live polls. I've been so distracted by StreamYard not playing nice and trying to, or just, you know, typing out our story here. So let me get a poll going. So here's what I want to know from you guys. Do we make Holly a main character? Or is she just another member of the Wheeler family? So just vote if you want her to be a main character. I didn't think we really needed that in season 5. I appreciate that they hired a really good young actress to play Holly because they made that decision and the performance was awesome. I think, and I'm guessing you guys are going to think similarly, I just think Max is enough. You know, I don't think we need another character that Max has to go rescue and drag into this thing. And Holly could have just been another girl. It could have just been the, you know, random 12 kids. So main character, or just another Wheeler, because she can still be in the story. Obviously, I think she should be, because the Wheelers are such a big part of the story, especially, you know, with what we're going to do to their family here. So I have no issue like bringing her into the story, like ushering her in gently. but they make her like a main character almost immediately, and she's never been a main. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the poll here that I'm just about to post. There we go. Let me know, guys. And let's see here. Maybe I'll do a little, how about this? Maybe I'll do a timer. There we are. Hey, not so bad. Okay, I'm going to do a 5-minute timer for that poll. There we go. Let's see here. Holly should get a smaller role, says 80s kid. I believe the same thing. Yes. Joel did not like Black Phone 2. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan either. I didn't think it was like terrible, but it was a little too different from the first movie for me. Talk about some scenes that are drawn out. Black Phone 2 has big time drawn out scenes, similarly to what they did in Stranger Things season 5. If our version of season 5 takes place a few days or weeks later, would it take longer for Max to wake up from her coma, or would she end up dead? We are not going to kill Max, and actually it sort of solves a couple problems. There's nothing wrong with her being, out that long. I mean, it would be, she would be, emaciated and tiny and everything probably in real life, but she could be in a coma for, a handful of days and wake up, and she would still be able to use her legs at that point. But whatever goes on in Vecna's mind, that's something that can seem like it's months in his mind, but it's just been like a week, for all of our characters. So we could definitely write it like that. That's a good thing to think about, King Matthew. Thank you for bringing that one up, because we do want to think about that with Max's character. In fact, I'm going to write a little note about it right now. I'll say Max is in a coma, but being stuck in Vecna's mind, time moves differently. What is a week to her body has been months or even years in her mind. Because this with sleeping, when we dream, guys, our dreams feel like they last for hours. And I've heard that the longest dream is, I don't know, somebody let me know in the chat. When I was a kid, what they said the longest dreams were, like maybe a minute or two, like maybe, but it just feels so long. So if you're in a coma for a week, each one of those days could feel like months, each one. So we could definitely play around with that. Holly should be a side character, because her being a main character in season 5 felt rushed, considering she had like 1 to 2 minutes of screen time in past seasons. I totally agree. I literally forgot Holly existed until season 5. Yeah, she's just in the background, like playing with her light bright or whatever. I think at the end of season 4, they try to make it a thing, right? Like Max draws what she saw when she was in the in-between or whatever, and Nancy like figures out that it's someone's house and like puts the whole thing together. That's a friggin' wild jump to conclusions, Matt, there. But yeah, Holly is just like there for random little bits. It was clearly a choice that was like, we're going to make her a main character, so when we do our spin-off, we could use her if we want to. But I don't know if they are, but they could. Let's see here. Ray says, I don't care what happens to Max. I just don't need to hear that Kate Bush song for the millionth time. No Kate Bush in our rewrite. No Bush at all. No, just no Kate Bush. Matt, we're not killing Max. Don't worry, Erica. Do not worry. Yeah, but I'm not sure that the mains would care if someone other than a family member was taken. Well, we can have them take... Isn't there... We could take Erica. Not our Erica. Take Lucas's sister. Take a main we already know, right? I don't know. Like, why try to make it a new main character, I guess, is my thing. And I still think our mains would want to save these people because their best friend, like one of their best friends, went through it, and it's endangering their entire town. I guess maybe the urgency is a little bit greater with it being Holly. She can still be kidnapped, Christine. I just don't know that we need her to be a main character. Does that make sense? Like, she can just be one of the kids that's kidnapped, and they still want to go save her, but she's not like handpicked by Max because, ooh, you're a Wheeler, so now you're, you know, I have to rescue you, whereas I wouldn't rescue anyone else otherwise. So yeah, she can still be, it can still be Holly that gets kidnapped. I just don't think that we need her to be a main character. All right, there we go. We have expired the time on our poll, and I'm going to end that at 15 votes. Holly is just going to be another Wheeler. Okay, so I'm just going to put a quick note here. Holly is still kidnapped by the Demogorgon, who they can now just, yeah, I guess now we don't need to explain them being able to rip into the Wheeler's house because there are just open fissures everywhere. So the Demogorgon could literally just run to the Wheeler house, or like, yeah, a fissure could split in their backyard and it just jumps right in. I didn't really like the fact that they were basically turned into the future Sentinels from X-Men Days of Future Past, which I think is an awesome movie, and I love those Sentinels in the future. I don't think the Demogorgons needed to like reach that level of ability. That seemed to be a little too OP, as they say. I'll just say what it really means. Overpowered. Because I ain't no kid. I'm an old man, you know? Holly's still kidnapped by the Demogorgon, but she is not a main character. There's nothing about her that's particularly special. I won't say that. I'll erase that. She's not a main character. Max is trying to save all of the kids and doesn't need any of their help. How about that? Really, it doesn't matter very much that Max rounds up the kids, because what saves the kids is when they go into the abyss and kill them, you know, defeat the Mind Flayer, defeat Vecna, and unhook the kids from the hoses. So it's almost like everything Max does is it pointless, guys? Is that the word that I'm looking for? Holy crap, I'm just now realizing, was there any point to her getting those kids away from the house? It didn't really change anything, did it? It didn't change a damn thing. Holy shit. Oh my God. I don't even know if I've heard somebody bring that one up, but that is glaring unless there's something I'm missing here. Let's see here. Erica wouldn't work. Vecna Henry needed weak-minded children. Erica would have read Henry to filth. Yes. Yeah, she's definitely not weak-minded. Neither is Holly. You know, it's like, at least from what they showed us in season 5, Holly is not a weak-minded child, right? Like, so, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Erica is like a total spitfire, and she's a lot older than those kids. But yeah, we could still have her be kidnapped. We don't need to swap her out with anyone. Let's see what else you guys are saying. All right. No worries, Joe. No worries. Maybe I can put your chat up on the screen. Maybe it'll let me. Who knows? There we go. I can actually do it. Hey, what's happening, Joe? One of our great channel members, Media Poop Shoot. How are you doing? How you doing? Okay, so Holly's not a main character. I like that we've got that figured out. I'm gonna say the demos do not need portal opening abilities. What happened? Did you guys notice that all of a sudden they can just open up their own portals? What the hell? Like, there's no hope for anyone in the right side up then if a Demogorgon can just rip open a portal. Just rip open a portal and have Vecna kill everybody. Come on, guys. Demos do not need portal opening abilities. Now that let's see here. Now that the bridge between the upside down and right side up has been compromised. There we go. Okay, so the Demogorgons can literally just run into the Wheeler house and do whatever the heck they want if they want to get Holly. So there we go. Demogorgons bust into the Wheeler house. This is where Ted dies here. A demo goes to kidnap Holly. Karen and Ted fight to protect their daughter. Of course they do. Let's see here. Ted is bested in battle. We'll figure out. Maybe we should do a poll for that. How bad should Ted get it? Should it be pretty gruesome? Does he get to at least, do something to save his wife or buy her some time? We don't need Karen here. How about this? If we're gonna kill Ted here, let's not sideline Karen for the whole season, because she's pretty much sidelined, other than silently throwing an oxygen tank into a dryer, an industrial dryer, silently again. Other than that, like, we don't get a lot from her. So Ted is bested in battle, but he saves Karen, who escapes unscathed and ready to charge and ready to join our heroes. There we go. As they plan for battle. So yeah, everything's wide open to Karen now. She understands, she hears all the secrets from Mike and Nancy and everything like that. She's caught up to speed. She wishes they would have told her sooner, but understands why they didn't. All that kind of good stuff. Karen is brought up to speed. Understands why she wasn't told. Okay. And I think I wanted Mr. Clark when he got involved in the season. I was like, man, it's almost like they should have gone to that guy a lot sooner. And I think we can write that into our story a little bit better now, seeing as how this takes place just within a week after the battle at the end of season 4. So let's bring Mr. Clark into the mix. We're not going to call him Snookums. He can have a relationship. He can be with the librarian. I just don't want to call him Snookums. Maybe the first time. Maybe Murray can still call him Snookums that one time, and then never again. It was too much. It was just a bit too much. Kind of like when I turned into Loverboy over Ray. It's just too much. It's okay to stop. Okay, so Mr. Clark joins our group early on. After getting Karen all caught up, they figure they could use the help of other adults they trust, who can greatly benefit their team. Yeah, why are you leaving this guy on the sidelines? Maybe the actor was busy doing something else. I'm actually going to put that. Why leave him on the sidelines? He can help them plan and execute. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and get Mr. Clark in way earlier. Like maybe in the first episode they go to him at the end and try to bring him in or something, or end of second episode, something like that. Okay. Let me check in with you guys, see if StreamYard's playing nicely. You want him bludgeoned with his own arm? We could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Ted is shredded, please. You want him like picked up and ripped in half? Joe wants him to at least lose an arm. Yeah, at least lose an arm. So what, do you really want him just like torn limb from limb? Should the Demogorgons, because sometimes they like sort of bite people's faces, should they feed? Should it be 2 Demogorgons that bust into the Wheeler house? They're tag team in this bitch. and maybe when Ted like pushes Karen out of the way, she's able to escape, but 2 Demogorgons, like one on each side, grab Ted and they just like pull him apart, like almost like a wishbone, and he just like cracks and splits and they just start eating. Was that too graphic? Is that too much? I don't know. Erica, let me know. Yeah, Mr. Clark needed to be there. Need to be there a lot more. You're into that? 2 Demogorgons, rip them in half? Okay, sweet. All right, I'm glad you're digging it. I'm glad somebody's paying attention over here. I'm just fucking with you guys. Guys, if you have any ideas, put them in there, especially, I mean, even if it's something we've already discussed, and maybe sometimes this can happen when you're writing, it's like you go over an idea or you reread an idea or you look back at it and it gets the gears going. So if anything that I've jotted down here for us is making something pop up in your head, please share it, and we'll find a way to work it in here. Okay, so let's see here. Ted is bested in. I'm gonna say demos don't need a portal. Okay, 2 demos break into the Wheeler home to kidnap Holly. How about it? Wheeler home to kidnap Holly. Karen and Ted fight to protect their daughter. Ted is able to, I'll say, distract the demos so Karen can escape. One of them's already taken. Maybe a trio of them go in there. Okay. There we go. 3 demos. So one of them's already taken to protect their daughter, but one of the demos grabs Holly and jumps back into the upside down. Ted is able to distract the demo so Karen can escape. Distract the other 2 demos so Karen can escape. But they grab him at either side and pull to snap him just like a wishbone. What's the story? Wishbone. Okay. Snap him just like a wishbone. The demos feed on Ted's body. How about that? Let's see. Karen escapes unscathed and ready to join our heroes as they plan for battle. Karen is brought up to speed, understands why she wasn't told. Okay, so those are just my little brief notes that I have there. Let me jump back in with you guys and see what you all are saying. I love gore. Go for it. Yeah, we aren't the Duffers. We won't just say, Yeah, I will. You know what? I may not use your ideas. It's true, guys, but we'll at least discuss them, right? And we'll, if one of them can work, we'll find a way to make it work, right? Erica says, my timbers have been thoroughly shivered by that documentary. They looked so bad and just plain dumb as writers. There are some pretty rough moments in that documentary. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the documentary starts with them bumbling around like, what do we want to do with 11? They're just like, fuck, you guys don't already know? Oh, shit. Hope you have a good night, Matthew. Aliens is an absolute classic. You guys are destined to have a good time. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate you. Wesley says, I thought the finale was good. The rest of the season needs rewriting. So Wesley, that's what we're pretty much doing here with this very first stream. We're going to have a part 2 where we do like the final battle and the epilogue. But right now we're kind of setting the stage. You know, think of it as like kind of writing the first 4 episodes, just like a condensed version. So this is the perfect stream for you to jump in on. I should get another poll going for you guys here. Let me see what we got. Fuck it. I'm just going to have you guys vote on whether or not Max has powers. Okay. Let's see here. Does Max have powers? And I'll do one that's yes, the same as 11 and Will. I'll do yes. power to God, it won't let me type all that. Travel through memories. I'm just gonna put that. I think that's a cool power. Can I write that? She can. Damn it. Okay, so yes, the same as 11 and Will. Yes, she can travel through memories, or no. That's it. Those are your options. So let me know, guys. I'm going to get that timer going. You have 5 minutes to participate in that poll. We got about 20 people hanging out with us right now. Thank you guys so much for kicking it with all of us lovely people here on a Friday night. It is just about 11:30 out there on the East Coast. It is 9:30 out here in Arizona with a high of 77 today, guys. Fucking ridiculous. Just brutal. Oh my gosh. Joe wants Max dead. Oh my goodness. Ray is just an agent of chaos now, isn't she? Okay, let's see what we got here. Votes are rolling in, and it looks like most people are saying she can travel through memories. So you guys want her to have powers, but not the same as 11 and Will. I was hoping that if you wanted her to have powers, it wouldn't be the same. Like, we do need, it's enough that 11 and Will have those powers. In fact, I want to expand a little bit on what Will's powers are, and I want to play with that lore a little bit. I think they do it a touch in the finale, but I think they could have done it quite a bit more. Why did I sound like Christopher Walken when I was like, I think they did it a touch? Oh, that was bizarre. That was bizarre. Every now and then you just slip into a little Walken. Guys, I'm gonna hit my nice little pen here, so don't mind me. Oh, maybe I should take the little cover off. How about that? Max had powers in the mobile game, says Wildman Beyond, but they changed it because they thought it would be a spoiler. There you go. Either she dies or gets freaking laser beams coming out of her eyes. You mean like Cyclops? Cyclops from X-Men? No, I wasn't. I just hit it. Come on now. Come on now. I mean, I might have hit it hours and hours ago, but this is the first time. So a spoiler of what? Absolutely nothing. It's true. She has the power to stand up in a wheelchair after being in a coma for 1.5 years or 2 years, however long it was. Oh, that one got me a little bit later. All right, 67% are saying yes, she can travel through memories. I'm thinking about just calling it there, even though there's plenty of time on the timer. It seems like we got all of our votes in. Oh my gosh, you ladies are relentless. Wesley says memories would make the most sense. Don't think we need 3 characters with the same power. I'm right there with you. Excuse me. Do I have a ghost face next to my name? That excites me. Oh yeah, because you're a channel member. Hell yeah. Yeah, you get to assign, you know, as membership grows, you get to assign different icons to people. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Pretty all right. Okay, still at 9 votes, guys. I'm just going to close it out there, and then we can move on. So you have all decided that Max has the power to travel through memories. So let's just say that this is something that Vecna has awoken within her. So we will find that out, awakened within her. We will find that out here when she awakens from her coma. While Max was trapped in Vecna's mind, he unknowingly, another writer word, he unknowingly unlocked an ability in her to freely travel through memories. I'll say the memories of those she comes in contact with. Okay, there we go. So we can find a way to work that into, you know, the story moving forward. Yeah, this could work. This could be really cool, actually. Her having this ability that she's learning about, and that's totally different than the other abilities that, you know, it brings something new to the table for this, you know, final season with Max. So I dig that. Okay, let's see what we got going on over here. No, she could do it wherever. So she wakes up from the coma. She's, you know, so Joe, there's no like 2-year gap anymore. We're doing like, it's been a week. They're licking their wounds. They're getting ready to go back in. And so Max hasn't been like in a coma for 2 years like she was in the actual finale. No. She can only write down the memories though when the Kate Bush song is playing. So she's kind of stuck. She's kind of stuck there. Okay, let's see what we got next. Okay, where are we at here? There we go. Okay, so what else is there to cover in these opening episodes? I mean, I don't mind some of the... I mean, Dustin's going to be all fucked up over Eddie. So it's like you have to acknowledge that stuff. I don't think we needed as much of it as we got between he and Steve. I think all of that could have been settled in like a scene. But again, we're saying that our group is getting along well. Let's see here. Our hero group is, I'm going to say, actually getting along. There we go. But I will put here Dustin, however, is a bit more, what's the right word? A bit more somber. Okay, how about that? Still dealing with everything. And seemingly having a tough time shaking it. There's friction between he and Steve. But they get it out in the open and squash the beef. Yeah, I don't mind like the interpersonal drama stuff that they put in there. Like you have to have a certain level of that in a show. But these guys, they're all dealing with some like really real shit. I don't see them stopping to, you know, there's a lot of bickering in the version that we got that I want to avoid. Even if there is conflict, I want it like the whole show is kind of about like facing that stuff so you can, you know, defeat your enemy or just so you can succeed. That's the whole reason why they had Will's coming out scene, is basically like if he doesn't tell all the friends, then it's going to be a disadvantage for them. So I think that let's pour that kind of vibe into the rest of this rewrite that we're doing, and have people just be like, you know, more open and upfront and be able to deal with these issues a little bit quicker. A little bit quicker would be nice. What's happening, Travis? It's going well. Hope you are doing awesome. We're just having a little fun here, doing like a fan, you know, rewrite of the finale of Stranger Things. We're doing a little choose your own adventure. I'm tossing out ideas, some live polls. We had polls on the main page. And this is part 1. So we're just kind of figuring out the setup and everything before we, you know, next the whole epic battle and the epilogue as well. So that is what we're up to. What are you up to, Travis? Great to see you. We needed closure for Dr. Owens, who apparently is still handcuffed in a bunker somewhere. Which one is Dr. Owens? Is that, what season is that? I'm trying to think. I'm like, who the heck is Dr. Owens? So it's been a long time since I've seen seasons 1 and 2, since they like originally aired. And then I just saw seasons 3 and 4 right before watching season 5. Okay. Where's Sam just chilling, chained to a pipe? Owens is the one that helps her. Sam just chilling near a chain to a pipe. I'm like, who the hell is Sam? Now, so this must be, which season is this from, guys? Oh, Paul Reiser from seasons 2 to 4. Okay, I couldn't remember. Did they kill him off in season 4? I can't remember if they killed him off. Yeah. Anywho. Okay, so let me see where we're at here as far as the writing goes. So we're all the way up to Holly's been kidnapped. Ted has been ripped apart by the Demogorgons, who are now feasting on his flesh. Karen's joined the group. What are we missing here? What are we missing? We've talked about pretty much everyone. What I guess we haven't really talked much about like Mike and Will and Lucas. Well, Lucas can just be, let's see here. Max is in a coma, and I'll put Lucas at her bedside. I like that element, and actually, like in season 5, I think one of the more emotional moments that actually like landed for me was when Max woke up. The performers, Sadie Sink and is it Caleb McLaughlin? Is that the name of the actor who plays Lucas? I think it is. Really good performances there from them. It felt really natural, and it wasn't dragged on for so long like a lot of the other stuff in the season was. So I really appreciated that for sure. So, okay, so we want to account for Lucas. We've accounted for Dustin. You know, maybe Mike isn't with his family when Holly gets kidnapped because he's out with 11, Joyce, and Hopper helping her train. How about that? We'll put the support from Hopper, I'll say for Mike, because we need to mature his character up a little bit in this regard. Mike, Hopper, and Joyce. And I want Mike and 11 to actually feel like, you know, granted they're 17 or 18 or whatever, I want them to feel a little bit more like a couple. Like, I know it's been a weird couple years in their lives or whatever, but I want it to feel a little more like a couple here. So Mike, Hopper, and Joyce are out there with 11. Will and Robin, honestly, out of all the things they did in season 5, I really liked the Will and Robin moments. You know, I totally saw what they're doing with the story, and like, okay, we're gonna get to the point where, you know, we're staring this thing right in the face, and Will is like having his moment, right? It just seemed like they were building up to that, but I really felt like the Robin Will stuff, like for me, that stuff worked. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of the cool thing about doing our fan-made rewrite, is we can still leave in certain elements we liked and have it look completely different once we're done with it. But I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking, so let me know in the live chat here. Lucas is the one who wakes Max up because he's a Prince fan. There's another scene where he flips the tape over in the boombox and it's not Kate Bush. It was a mixtape. Yeah, we could certainly work, you know, we're not going to be able to listen to the songs, but we can say, you know, that they put on some tracks. Let's, just to challenge ourselves, Wild Man Beyond. Let's pick some artists that we think they should have played that they hadn't in what we already, like Prince. I mean, that's an easy pick. Like, I fucking love Prince. He's great. But what about another track from that 87 to 89 kind of time period? You know, could we throw in there? All right. Rebel Sky 3549 says Eddie and Billy should return as controlled by Vecna, but Dustin gets Eddie to play his music, and as long as he plays, he's normal. He'll fight the bad Billy, but Eddie will have to wander forever. Okay. Do we want it? Guys, that's interesting. Do we want to bring Billy back as what? Yet another villain? Do we want to do something? Because so Rebel Sky, one thing that everyone voted on is they wanted to bring Eddie back and have Eddie basically be Kaz the Destroyer from Dungeons and Dragons. That's just the way the votes fell. But I'm curious to know from the live audience here. Let's see here. There we go. Ray says Oingo Boingo would wake me out of a coma. Yeah, Oingo Boingo. Fucking fabulous. Let's see here. What are Billy and Max? What is their last name? I don't even know. Should Billy come back as a monster in the Upside Down? That's going to be a simple yes or no. Let's see what you guys think. Leave it up to the people. The timer is started. Personally, I like what you're saying here about like being able to play the music and Eddie acts normal and Eddie having to like wander forever. I really like those elements, Rebel Sky. In fact, like with Kaz the Destroyer, with Eddie being Kaz the Destroyer, even if he gets like his happy ending, he's still stuck in that space. Like, you know, he sadly can't come back to like the regular world and just be a creature that lives there. I do want to add that element. However, with Billy, I would feel bad bringing him back because he had like a full redemptive arc. You know, like he sacrificed himself to save them, to give them the opportunity to, you know, win in the end. And I'm like, I kind of want to let that character have some peace. But we'll see what everyone says in the poll. So far, there are 8 votes, and it's 62. Oh, yep, 8 votes, 62% to 38 yes. So we'll see how many more votes we get in. We may call the timer a little bit early if it seems like the voting has completely stopped, but I want to give you guys some time to jump on in there. And I guess the next question is, guys, we're going to have to figure out what do we want to do with this monster? Do we want to... So if he is a monster in the Upside Down, are we saving him for the final battle? Is it like this gut punch kind of moment for Max to see her brother again and have him be like eviled out? We'll see. We'll finish this poll. It looks like you guys do want to bring Billy back as a monster. So we'll just figure out what to do with him after that. How about it? Writing together. That's fucking teamwork, right? Let's see what you guys are saying here. Max Mayfield. Okay. Alliterative DC Comics nonsense. Yeah. Have they never played one hip hop song? Interesting. Yeah. Something from License to Ill or something like that. Let's see here. Pump up the volume. That's a fun one. Travis Mitchell says, up my alley, We Close Our Eyes by Oingo Boingo from 1987. Beautiful song that would help close the show out well. There we go. We do need some sort of Eddie. We're going to get Kaz the Destroyer. Don't you worry. Linda wants U2 with or without you. I'm not the biggest U2 fan, but man, they are massively popular. I would imagine that would go over very well because when Friends used it, it made the song massive for the second time. I would like some as well, Erica. So if you could get me, you know, like mint chocolate chip would be great. Like I'll take cookies and cream if you don't have mint chocolate chip. Like, I mean, if you have bubblegum, if there's access to bubblegum ice cream, I want bubblegum ice cream. So I don't know what to tell you. I gotta say no on the Billy Monster, as it would hurt Max's arc and her feeling guilty over his death. She shouldn't suffer over him. Man, it feels like she has. Yes, Bubblegum Gate. Yeah. Billy's last name is Hargrove. Max is Mayfield. Okay, so different daddies. Different daddies. Okay, 1 minute left. We got 10 votes. I'm actually just going to close this one out. So yeah, you guys want to bring Billy back? Billy, oh Billy boy. When is it that you're going to find whatever it is you're looking for? Okay, so how are we going to bring, or what are we going to do? What do we do with Monster Billy. He leads the charge to kidnap Holly. How about that? We first see him kidnapping Holly as some sort of monster. He shows up in the final battle. Surprise, surprise. The musical Whoms hit at that moment. Oh, what do we do? What else do we do with him? Ooh, what if he's a monster being tortured by the military? Oh, that's kind of a cool option. A little bit different. Being tortured by the military. So at some point he would like kind of break out and go on a rampage. Maybe he is the monster that rips Dr. K to shreds. Being tortured by military, breaks out. Okay, I can't put all that. Okay, well, you guys know what I mean. So we got 3 options here to bring back or to bring in Monster Billy. Monster Billy. You have 5 minutes to get your vote in. The options here are he leads the charge to kidnap Holly. He shows up in the final battle just fucking with Max. Or he's being tortured by the military, kind of a sad monster. A little bit of a sad monster. But he breaks out, rips everyone to shreds, maybe frees Kali or something. Maybe he's still got some sort of redemptive thing. I don't know. We can't do it with all the characters. Maybe he's killed by Vecna for some sort of perceived failure or slight. I don't know. There we go. We got 5 votes cooking so far. So get those votes in, guys. That's going to wrap up here in just over 4 minutes. Or if we reach like 10 or 11 votes and it's not moving anywhere, I'll just call it at that point. Right now, we have a 3-way tie. That is incredible. How about it? We got a good, diverse group of people hanging out here. Okay, so Travis says Billy loved his car. Having him drive a warped, upside-down version of his car chasing Lucas would be cool. And Ray likes that idea. Okay. Well, shoot. I didn't see that before I made the poll. Okay, we can probably find a way to work it in. Depending on which one wins. Really just the tortured creature in the military. That's the only one where you probably couldn't get that in there. A fun little like hell ride kind of thing. Little nod to Mad Max Fury Road or something like that. Could be fun. Could be fun. Hey, what's happening? Deep Sea, the Deep Wing. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. So right now we have an active poll in the chat. The audience here wanted to bring back Billy, Max's brother, for the finale. So we're trying to figure out what is the best way to bring this character back into the mix. But yeah, we're just having a fun little fan rewrite, choose your own adventure of the Stranger Things finale. This is part 1. Part 2 will be next week. He sure did love the car almost as much as he loved MILFs. Just joking. He totally loved the car more. Yeah, Steve's car is one of the only casualties of season 5. Not only does it get like crushed, doesn't it get sucked into that vacuum, like that whole world of nothingness? Well, there you go. Travis has got it all figured out here, folks. Let's see what's winning in the poll. Okay, there's 11 votes and there's a 2-way tie. I'm going to close the poll. How about this? It's going to be both of those. Actually, so technically he leads the charge to kidnap Holly. I guess technically that was 37%. I think they're just giving one the edge over another. But that one was tied as far as I could see it. They both had 36%. So it was he leads the charge to kidnap Holly, and he shows up in the final battle. We can have him show up in the final battle in that car. So let me write that here. Some of these are just going to be disjointed notes as we go on. Let's see here. Billy is back as a twisted monster of the upside down. He leads the charge to kidnap the children of Hawkins. So he's there for Holly, but he's there for all of them because he's sort of overseeing this. Okay. Let's see here. He has a upside down version of his car that he loved so very much. I'm going to say during the final battle, he chases Lucas. And what did you say here? There we go. Travis. It ends with Billy crashing his car and burning, Lucas having to be the one to pull him out. Okay. Okay. And Max seeing Lucas pull her awful brother from a car wreck to save his soul would solidify their relationship. Well, there we go. All right. The car crashes and burns. Lucas saves Monster Billy. Max sees, and this solidifies their relationship even more. Excellent. All right. Look at that. We are putting this thing together. He puts Holly in the trunk while he chases Lucas. You know what? So Holly's just going to be one of the kidnapped kids. So Holly's going to be still, I like the idea of them being hooked up to the Mind Flayer. I think that's something that I'd like to keep. However, I'd like there to be some stakes. So when the Mind Flayer wakes up and starts doing its thing, it's like a ticking time bomb. The kids are going to start like passing away one by one because all of their energy has been completely sucked from this thing. There has to be some sort of consequence for hooking those kids up to those things. All right, let's see here. Intercut Lucas freeing Billy to with John catching Steve. It's all in a lost moment where everyone sets aside their resentment for one another. Yeah, and you know what? There's not going to be much of the resentment here in this version of the script, Travis, because one of the things that we established early on is that for the most part, people are getting along. So we're going to have a different moment with Jonathan and Steve because Jonathan we've voted to kill Jonathan. So that was decided by our lovely folks in the community. They were like, kill that Jonathan guy. Not really, because it was between Jonathan, Murray, Steve, and Mr. Clark. And Jonathan got 45% of the 242 votes. Now, the way that folks voted for Jonathan to get killed, 75% of 59 people voted for a hero's sacrifice. So Jonathan gives his life to save his mother, Joyce. I would like to see that happen in the final battle. I think Jonathan gives his life to save Joyce. Because, guys, I hate to do this, but part of me wants to kill Will earlier in the story. So I think there needs to be like a midway through death that hits, so we have Jonathan, Nancy, Dr. K. We've already figured that out. Oh no, I guess we haven't if Billy isn't in the facility. So Jonathan, Nancy, Will, we've already done Ted, and then yeah, Dr. K. So there needs to be some sort of gut punch here. Maybe there's a similar scene to what we saw in the actual episode 4, where like Vecna breaks, comes through the plane and the Demogorgons attack everyone. Maybe there's something like that where Jonathan could either Jonathan or Will could end up losing their lives there. However, you guys want, let's see here. You want Will to sacrifice himself to put a definitive end to Vecna is what won our poll on the page. So it looks like we're going to go with that one. So we got to find a way to get rid of Jonathan here. So let's see what we got. What are you going to do with Thurman Merman? I mean, Derek. We can pretty much just leave Derek in there as is, right? He can still be the Spitfire. Yeah, I mean, what? Because our group uses Derek's family as bait? God, our heroes are like kind of weird in season 5. That's what happens, right? They use the whole family as bait for the Demogorgons. Huh. That's a good question, Christine. How do we get Derek into the show? I mean, we can make Derek... You could put Derek into the show just by having him get kidnapped, and then you find out that he's got this personality, and you find out that Holly couldn't stand him, or, you know, whatever. We could do something like that. Even Erica wants him to stay the same. There we go. Billy is one attractive man. Oh, I've heard it. Oh, I have heard it. They get to Eddie's grave in the Upside Down when a giant serpent launches up Lucas's snake. The jock's killed. Oh, you're bringing back some deep cuts. I'd have Max get the kill on Billy for the last second. He reverts normal. He tells his sister he loves her, and to do it, Max gets the final blow on Monster Billy. Oh, man, so much heartbreak for Max if that's how it goes, right? Because she had to watch him die at the end of season 3. That's pretty tough. That is pretty tough stuff. Okay, so let's figure out what to do with Jonathan. Okay. So we want Jonathan to sacrifice himself, saving his mother. Okay. So let's figure out what that means specifically. How about that? How do you want Jonathan to make his sacrifice? Oh, let's see here. I feel like a lot of people have been getting ripped to shreds. I'm trying to figure out some different way of doing it. They didn't really give us many creative, or, you know, like there's not much here to pull from unless we are creating brand new monsters and stuff like that. Let's see here. So let's say Jonathan gets killed at the mid-season finale. It's going to be that episode 4. Let's just like think of it in that spot. So maybe that's the event that triggers Will to like totally unlock his stuff. You know, that's what pushes him over the edge, in addition to the Demogorgons threatening everyone else. But maybe something happens to where Jonathan, maybe let's forget him saving Joyce or whatever. Maybe Jonathan stands up to Vecna to defend his brother, and Vecna just literally like rips Jonathan's heart out. Does that sound good? Like some big dick kind of statement that like Vecna can make before he saunters off into back into the Upside Down. So even though Will, like, so before Will loses his shit, like Jonathan jumps in there to defend his honor or whatever, you know, Vecna literally rips his heart out. That would be fucking cool to see. And then Will loses his shit and like, you know, destroys the Demogorgons. It starts to affect Vecna, like is moving like sluggishly. He doesn't feel right. He's got like walleye vision, something like that. And he's kind of stumbling back through the portal for safety, thinking that he was ready to take everything on. But Vecna even realizes in that moment, like, shit, I'm gonna need some backup here. You know, I'm gonna need some resources I can dip into. How does that sound? Does that sound good? Do we need a poll? I don't know if we need a poll. There we go. Jonathan, Brandon, Tyler, just because you can't remember his name. Linda's down with it as well. Okay, awesome. Excellent. Okay, so let's get that all typed out here. And guys, we're pretty much like, we're getting close to rounding out our first session here. I think it's been good. We got a lot here to work with. I think what I'll do, guys, is, you know, I'll flesh this out a little bit. I'll actually write paragraphs to send into the Microsoft Copilot, and then just see what it comes up with. If it gets to the point where I'm like, you know what, this would be cooler if I just like wrote it like a traditional kind of short story or whatever, then we'll get there. But I'm just curious to see what we can come up with, kind of going a little bit of the easy route. And since we're just having fun with it, like spend most of our mind power just coming up with the ideas. So let me jump on in and write those notes. Hey, everyone has helped. I mean, you threw out the idea of Ted getting beaten with his arm, and then that kind of led to the idea of him being ripped in half, like tugged on each arm. Right? You're cool, Joe. We got you. We got you, bud. Okay, so let me see here. Okay. So in the, I'll just call it the mid-season finale. When Vecna and his goons break through to right side up Hawkins. Let's see here. Jonathan steps in and defends Will against Vecna's biting tongue. Vecna's I'll just say harsh words. How about that? Like Vecna's not gonna like call him names, but he's pretty much like getting to that point. As a sign of power, Vecna literally rips out Jonathan's heart in front of Will, who then absolutely loses it, unlocks powers he never knew he had, and lays waste to the dozen or so demos in the vicinity. Is that how you spell that word? I guess it doesn't matter. I'm typing in all caps because it's just easier for me. And then sometimes when you see a word in all caps, I'm like, is that really how that word's written? I don't know. I'm a pretty good speller, but I'm definitely not perfect. Not only are the demos affected, but Vecna feels the walls closing in. Feels the walls closing in as Will's power has weakened him. How about that? It's weakened him. He can barely make his way through the portal and realizes this is going to be a bigger fight than he thought. I'd like to see Vecna like realize that he has to up the ante a little bit, because it's like in season 5 he's just hooked up to tubes. He might as well just be like sitting on the toilet for 80% of that season. It's weird. There's no like, I mean, Henry's off there with the kids, like making sure that they're whatever. I don't understand why Henry needs to be hanging out with the kids, really. But Vecna's just like sitting on his ass. It's ridiculous. Okay, there we go. So I think we're at a good spot where we can stop here and I can put together what we have. There's a good bit that I've written here. And when we reconvene next week to write that final battle and the epilogue, I have the feeling we're going to take a lot of what's already there in that final battle and even take some of what's in the epilogue as well. So I don't think it's going to be as big of a writing assignment, but we do have some more character deaths to figure out. So that'll be really fun with the live audience polls. And of course, like stuff might just come up like came up tonight with bringing Billy back. So some things are just going to happen on a whim. So we will put a cap on the writing here tonight. We can also, add some stuff to this next time around if we have an idea that plays more into the setup of the story, so we can dive in there as well. And yeah, keep an eye on the page for any like polls or anything like that in regard to what is going to be happening in this final battle, and you know, the send off, the epilogue, and everything. So I will, you know, make sure to throw some more polls there on the page so you guys can vote along, and we can have a little bit of a foundation there as far as what we're going to bring to our next writing session, because the idea is to finish writing next week and then to put everything together. And I would love to hop on a stream and just like actually read it all through to you guys and see what we think. Or I could just read it as a pre-recorded video and drop it on the channel, and you guys can check it out at your leisure and let me know what you think there in the comments. So we'll figure all that out. Really, this is about sharing the space with you guys, sharing some time with you guys on a Friday night, and getting creative and just having some fun with it. So I think it's been a blast. It's totally been a blast the whole time. I've had, you know, a great evening hanging out with you guys and dealing with all the weird shit over on StreamYard, and just trying to think on the fly, as I'm sure you guys have as well. So yeah, this was a blast. We are just wrapping up right now, Jamie. So yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. There's going to be part 2 next Friday. So keep an eye out. I'm going to build that stream and start, you know, letting people know about it. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys join this next time around. I do want to give a shout out to some folks. Bronson is celebrating 6 months of channel membership. He also dropped a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Bronson. Coy is celebrating 14 months of channel membership. Jason Carpenter is celebrating a month of channel membership. And let's not forget the ladies of the stream here. We've got Erica, one of our great channel members, and Death Squad Mods dropping a $2 super chat. And we've got Ray. How you doing, Ray? Dropping a $2 Canadian, because she is for Team Vecna. How about it, guys? All right, that is going to wrap it up for this one. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. Really do appreciate our Patreons or Patreon members, our patrons. I always stumble, but like right when I'm about to say that, it's like I don't know what I'm going to say. It's like you're running to the edge to, you know, jump off the diving board, and you like slip right before you get to the end, and then you just like tumble in. That's what happens every time. Thank you so very much to our Patreon members and YouTube channel members, and of course our mighty group of Death Squad Mods. You guys are awesome. If you haven't checked it out already, guys, I did a top 10 horror of 2025 last week. I also, you know, covered that Scream TV spot. We did a slow-mo breakdown. And then there's some Duffer Brothers news on their new shows and what I think about that. So you guys can catch that all here on the channel. And for more Stranger Things fun, we'll be back next Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So you guys know how this goes. Until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.